So far, having discussions on Ashtavakra Gita, a unique text on Advaita Vedanta, the like of which we haven't had so far anything of equal merit. I would say, from some points of view, it is more greater than the Yoga Vasishta. Yoga Vasishta lays emphasis on Purushottama, on effort, on control of the mind. Here is a Maharishi who says, no efforts are required, no steps are required, there are no ladders, you need not become anything, you need not control the mind. You can reach there on as is very basis simply by hearing these instructions. Vastu Shravana Matrena. It's a conversation between Ashtavakra and Janaka. And from the second chapter onwards, Janaka has already reached the same stage as his Guru. There is practically no difference. No one is speaking from his past experiences. The other is speaking from his recent experience after hearing the instructions of Ashtavakra. But both are harping us on the same tune. Janaka is only a pretext. All the instructions are aimed at all the aspirants, the present and of the posterity. And there are a lot of repetitions. The same point is again and again being hammered on us repeatedly by Ashtavakra. Because he feels that we are so basic and so fundamental for our self-realization. So, in a number of repetitions he feels is too little as compared to its importance. Normally the Western scholars, they don't like repetitions. But all our Shastras in the Orient, we have always believed in repeating the same slokas. Here Ashtavakra, without a change of a comma, he has repeated certain slokas exactly in the same way. Now he is going to tell a shloka, the ideas of which have already been given in a seed form, and he is elaborating on the theme. Natvam, we are on the fourth shloka of chapter 15. Natvam deho nate deho bhokta karta nava bhavan Chitru Bhuti Sada Sakshi Nirapeksha Sukhanchara. The entire postulate behind the philosophy leading to self-realization is know that you are not an individual. You are an integrated whole. You are the global totality. Because of some quirk of the mind, we have begun to think that you are the body or you are the mind. In the beginning itself, in the second chapter, where he gives his instant instructions, he says, Yadi deham prithakritya chiti vishramya tishtasi adhunaiva sukhi shanto jivan mukto bhavishyasi. This is one of his very first moksha capsule, the bliss capsule, where he guarantees you just hear it, understand it with a proper perception, and we have reached the goal. Nothing else is required. There are no other interim steps whatsoever. We should, whenever we say this is Shantananda, Shantananda thinks that they are referring to this body with this beard and mustache. No. We are all two units. It is just like an electric bulb. Electric bulb is not one unit. It's a child which thinks the entire thing is one bulb, is one unit. No. You know better. We know it consists of two units, two separate units, which are absolutely contrary in their characteristics. There is a bulb, there is electricity. They are two separate things. Electricity is an energy. Bulb is a matter, which is a solid thing. The bulb has got a birthday. It was manufactured in 1994. And the bulb can be crushed to pieces if I throw a stone over it. So one day it will beat its end. But when I throw this stone on this bulb, the bulb will smash to pieces, but nothing can ever happen to that energy which is inside it. It cannot even make a small scratch on it. It cannot be wounded. It cannot be pierced by any weapons. It cannot be burnt. So it is beyond any sort of such things to which the bulb can be subjected to. Exactly in a similar way, that's a conscious energy. That is consciousness. Body is only a bulb. So the body is subject to decay, the body is subject to birth and death, the body is subject to old age. But what is the age of electricity which is inside, that consciousness which is inside? It has no date of birth. And even when the body dies, the feeling I am, which is that consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is the ability to know I am, that one's own existence. That is consciousness. And that consciousness has got a lot of ramifications in the sense this book is unconscious. In this sense, outwardly it doesn't know that it exists. Nor does it know that there are so many people sitting before it. And if I were to beat it, give a slap, it cannot respond either with anger or hate. There will be no reaction. On the contrary, I am a conscious object. You slap me and see what happens. I'll slap back. So immediate reaction, anger, all these things come. Anger, compassion, love, kindness, all these are the subsidiary products of the consciousness. A thing which has no consciousness, it cannot have any kindness towards you. It cannot have any compassion towards you. So that is why the body is absolutely different from you. And its characteristics are far different. Never associate yourselves with it. Do not identify yourself with it. Well, the bulb fuses. Then what do? You replace it with another bulb. When the bulb is fused, the electricity has not died. It is very much alive there. You keep your finger there, then you will know what happens. You get a shock. So the electricity doesn't die with the dying of the body. You have only rented it. You are living there. You are only tenants. So how can you identify yourself with the body? Body is only the bulb. Body is subject to the 6 states that is called the Shadbhava. That is, it is born. Then it continues to remain Asti. Then it grows slowly. A child grows to a boy to a man to an old man. So Vardhate. Then what happens in due course? apakshiyate. Slowly decay starts. My eyes do not see, cataract, glaucoma. My ears do not hear. My hand doesn't work. Paralysis of the limbs. So slowly the decay starts. So it is subject to decay. Then finally it may die. And in the meantime, viparinamate, it undergoes so many changes. My black hair, ebony light, it changes to white hair. And my face, which are so nice, is subject to wrinkles. No anti-wrinkle cream can save it. Thus, you are subject to ever so many changes. So all these things are all characteristics of the body. Electricity can never become old. Electricity's hair can never turn grey. Electricity is not subject to any of these changes. It was never born, it will never die. Because the law of thermodynamics says energy is neither created nor destroyed. That is why he says, first thing we have to understand is, I am not the body. Otherwise, all our miseries stem from the fact that we are identifying ourselves with the body. And naturally, when you are identifying yourself with the body, whoever is associated with your body, your father, your mother, your wife, your son. So all these things which are all of the body, including your qualifications, MA, MBA. So all these things belong to the body, and naturally you get attached to the mark. If somebody writes you a letter and forgets to write there MA, MBA, you write him a strong letter. Beware in the future how you address me. That's what happens, ego. Natvam deho, nate deho. All right, I agree, I am not the body. Now I understand. But then this body is mine. No, it is not yours. That's what he says. Neither you are the body, nor the body is yours. You cannot claim any ownership that this body belongs to me. At any time, the electricity can leave the bulb and get out. How can you say that this bulb is mine? And number two, is this electricity a small pocket which is separately in this bulb? This electricity is part of the entire electricity which is going on the entire circuit. There are about 150 bulbs in this ashram. They are all collected by the same electricity. There is one circuit. There is only one electricity which goes. In the 200 watt, in the 1000 watt, in the lakh watt. Any one bulb as mine. The entire thing belongs to the totality. It doesn't belong to an individual. There is no individual electricity at all. There is an electricity which is connected with the entire world electricity perhaps. Natvam deho, nate deho. So don't claim any proprietorship over this body. The body doesn't belong to you. Natvam deho, nate deho. They means to you. This body doesn't belong to you. Then, bhokta karta lava bhavan. The entire misery stems from the fact that we are again and again subject to the rounds of birth and death. Why this birth and death has taken place? In order to reap the fruits of your actions of the past. In this birth, I did a lot of bad deeds. I saw to it that a man's promotion was lost. I stole from somebody's car. I harmed some animal. At the same time, I had done some good things. I contributed to the building of an ashram. And the other day, I paid for Narayan Seva for feeding the beggars in this ashram. So I've done a lot of good deeds too. So long as you think I have done it, I have done out of my money. Then, the punya or the papa, the merits or the sins, accruing out of your good or bad deeds, their fruits will have to be eaten by you. So, if I have done some good deeds, I have done some charity, I have given some money to some poor fellows, I have done some heavy contribution to an orphanage. So, all these things, the cosmic auditor, he keeps a note in his ledger. And in the next birth, your body will have to be given to you in order to enable you to reap the fruits of the good and bad deeds. The punishment for the bad deeds done. So in this birth, I may have been a very, very innocent person, but suddenly somewhere I am caught in a scandal and then I am put inside the jail. I claim I am innocent, I am not guilty, I have not done anything. Lord, why are you punishing me? It is not a punishment for anything done or not done in this birth. It is a punishment for the deeds done in your previous birth. It is a continuation. It is all birth seniority. This birth alone we cannot give. It is a continuation series. Similarly, for whatever you have done the previous birth, suddenly one day you have purchased a 1 rupee ticket, a lottery ticket, and it is told Shantananda gets 10 lakhs. Oh, where from has it come? I never deserved it. I didn't do anything special, but I got it. So this is the reward for the good deeds done in the heart. So, if you want to get out of this birth and death, if you do not want to incur any sin, if you do not want to do any good deeds neither, then go beyond good and bad. How to go? Whatever they do, you have to categorize whether they are good deeds or bad deeds. And all Mahatmas exhort us, do the good deeds, never do the bad deeds, don't do the sinful deeds. Then how then to go beyond both? You describe your doership. Say that I don't do anything at all. Yes, it's a fact, you don't do anything. You don't do anything because whatever is being done is all being done by your respective senses. You said, I have just now had my meals. I went to the dining hall. No, it's 100% wrong. We have done nothing. It is your feet which took you to the dining hall. It is your hands which contacted the plate and put it in the mouth. It is the gullet which pushed it inside your stomach. What did you do? We did nothing. Yes, we had only one role. You had only one role, and that is the role of consciousness, awareness. You were aware that your feet took you to the dining hall, and you were also aware that there are so many items which were distributed in your leaf, and your hands took them up and put it. All these things you were aware of. So he says, you are not the karta. You are not the doer. Dissociate yourself is all a program, the totality. It is a cosmic program. Did I create the earthquake? Did I create the flood? Similarly, even the individual events and happenings were happening to you. You didn't create it. They happened. They happened due to a cosmic program of the totality, of the global totality. You were responsible, and they were got executed through your senses. Your hands did it, your feet did it, you didn't do it. You were only conscious of them. So the moment you describe the doership, that I am not the doer, then naturally its fruits cannot accrue to you. It is the law of nature. It is the law of nature that unless you claim, I did it, I wrote such a beautiful poem, and that was published in all the newspapers, and Ramakshana has published in their book. Then later on, somebody put a notice that you have stolen away all these poems I wrote in 1928 in Sanyas magazines. Then you are in trouble. So you are the bhokta. Because you said you claimed you wrote it, well now you face it. So, your doership means that you have to experience the fruits also. That is called the bhokta, bhoktrutva. If you are a karta, you are also a bhokta. Karta means a doer. Bhokta means the one who experiences the fruits. So if you are a karta, you have to be a bhokta. You decide I am not the doer, then the result of which cannot come to you. No fruits can accrue to you. Then always remember, you have got one rule. Chidruposi sada sakshi. You are only of the form of consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness means the awareness of existence, that I am, I exist. This is a great knowledge, and that you are. Chidruposi. And what's your role? Sakshi. I saw my hands taking and putting in the mouth. I don't judge. I don't choose. It is what is called a choiceless awareness, a choiceless perception. You don't choose. Whatever comes, you accept. Well, they have put bitter gourd today. Very good, I think. Or they have put that mango in the sambar. Very good. Take it. So whatever it is there, don't say I like it, I don't like it. Don't say this is pleasant, this is unpleasant. No choice, no judgment, accept whatever comes. That is what is the role of a witness. A witness never participates in the game. He just looks at it. He looks at it in an impartial manner. He doesn't take sides. Chidro kosi sada sakshi. At all times you are the conscious witness. You are the consciousness, you are only a witness. So if you do not participate, then you are not a doer. If you are not a doer, then the result of your actions can never affect you. You can neither be punished for the misdeeds done, nor can be rewarded for the good deeds done. So neither catches you. So no more new actions. Then when there are no more new actions, there cannot be any more births and deaths. All births and deaths again and again, the repetition of births come only because you have accumulated some new karmas, some new actions for which you have to experience their fruits, either good or bad. So, Chidru Posi Sada Sakshi. All right. How to avoid this beership? How to avoid this beership? It's very easy to say that don't be a doer. Please say that I am not a doer at all. There is a story that when Lord Krishna was ruling in Dwarka, on the other side of Jamuna, for a few days, one Durvasa Maharishi camped. And daily Rukmini was taking meals, crossing the river, there were paths. She used to go to the other side and feed the Maharishi. One day she found that there were floods and there was no way for her to cross the river and go to the other side. And the poor Rishi would have been fasting. He would have been hungry. So Rukmini couldn't bear the idea of a great saint remaining hungry when she is so near. And when she had accepted to feed him daily, she went back to Krishna and asked him, Krishna, what shall I do? How shall I reach there? And there are no boats, there is nothing, because nobody expected these flash floods which come in no time. Krishna said, you go and stand there and tell Jamuna river, if it is true that my husband has always been a permanent celibate who has never touched a single girl, please give me way. Then to give you way. What? My husband? He has got 16,000 wives and so many 20,000 children and grandchildren, and he says, I am a Nitya Brahmachari. But still, Krishna can never lie. She goes, stands before Jamuna river and says, if it is true that my husband Krishna has always been from birth, a Nitya Brahmachari who has been a celibate, who has never touched a single girl, please give me way. Immediately, it just parted way and there was a path by which she could cross and go to the other side. She went there, fed Durvasa Maharishi. Durvasa Maharishi some of that day was extraordinarily hungry, So whatever extras she brought, they were also exhausted. He took them all nicely. Then when she was about to return, she found the same thing. She didn't know what to say. He has forgotten to ask Krishna. For coming she asked. For returning, she had never asked what she should say. She went back to Sri Durvasa and asked him, this is what Krishna told me at that time. Now what shall I do? How can I cross the river and go back? He said, yes, what do? You go and stand before the Jamuna and say, if it is true that Durvasa has not taken any meals today and has been observing 100% fast, if it is true, then please give way. She went and told the same thing. Jamuna gave way. This is because the one who ate, she never had the idea that I am eating, I am a karta. She said it's a program which is happening in the totality. It is the Lord who is in me who is eating. I have nothing to do, I am conscious of it, I am aware of it. Yes, Rukmini came and fed me, and nothing more than that. But I know it to be. It is the akarta bhava, the non-beership. And the same thing with Krishna. Whatever he did is all the totality. He never had absolutely any sense. See, at that level, what all they do, to us some things may require, we may feel that they were not proper or improper actions. We are nobody to judge what is proper and improper in respect of people at the highest consciousness. Whatever they do not do for the individual things. They do not do it in their own selfish interest. Whatever is done in the interest of the entire world, the entire cosmos, the entire universe as such. So this is the case of being a Sakshi, without ever thinking that I am the doer, I am the leader. Absolutely not. Nirapeksha sukham chara. Then how to develop this? Ashtavakra never believes in developing, cultivating or becoming. He believes in being, that's all. Be what you are. Don't become, don't try to become. That's all. Remain as you are and you will reach. Because you cannot become anything else. You are what you are and you are the Brahman. What else do you want to become? You are that. That's Swamiji. So, he says, that's only one clue. Nirapeksha. Leave off all this. What all actions we do, we are doing because we are decided. I have a desire that my son should come first in the 12th standard so that I can put him in the engineering and then the MBA. I got a lot of plans for him. So because the desire is there and that through is a dullard, he will never get 40% marks. Then what I do? I find out what the examiner. Go and drive them heavily in labs. What they do. So all the actions you are doing, and if that action is bad, then in the other janma you have to read again. So if you want to avoid any action whatsoever, curb all your desires at the root. Do not have any desire, like things happen by themselves, accept what all that happens, all the events and happenings. Do not desire. Do not desire even for moksha. It is the ultimate stage. In the beginning stage you must, because moksha is considered one of the synchronons for getting into that spiritual ladder itself. Even for getting into the first rung of the ladder, it is essential that you should have that intense yearning and longing to know who you are or to reach the Lord's feet. Whatever it may be, the goal you may decide as you want. But that longing should be there. That is called the mumuksha. But at the highest stage, as in when you go at the higher rungs, live off that desire also. Remain as you are. Your Sakshi. Your Sakshi doesn't desire anything. Whatever happens, happens. Perfectly okay. He doesn't desire even for moksha. Even for liberation, he is free from all desire. Nirapeksha sukham chara. Then what happens? Leave off all desires. Then obviously, you don't do any action. Actions take place in themselves. That's all. So naturally, there is nothing good or bad that is done by you. And naturally, there will be no reaction to the next birth. You need not have to take another birth for expiating for your sins or for getting the rewards for the good deeds done. Neither. So the entire, the chain which was forged of continuous births and deaths, it has been cut off. That's all. No more. You reach the liberation. And what do you gain the liberation? What is the purpose of liberation? Why do you want liberation? Why do you want God? Our ultimate desire is to have perennial happiness. A happiness which will last forever. That is all we want. So sukham chara. You will have that immense bliss. You only do this much, leave off all desires, leave off your doership, then automatically your experiencership is also gone, and you will be in immense bliss even while you are alive, even when you are in the world, even when you are doing the duties of a householder. So at all circumstances, in all environments, you will have that ultimate bliss. You will be a Jivan Mukta. That is one who is liberated while alive. Now we go to the next. Ragadveshau mano dharmau namanaste kadajana nirvikalpo sibodhatmaha nirvikara sukham jara. All these things he has already told. See, that you are not the body and all these things, it has come in the very first chapter that don't be a karta. He has given a full sloka on kartapan, on doership alone. Sloka number 8 in chapter 1, he says, leave off this abhimana that I am the karta, that I am the doer. The moment you are there, it's a great poison. It will poison you forever. You will never get out of it. Aham karte tyahammana. Mahakrishna ki damshitaha. So at any time you do whatever you do, you dissociate yourself. I don't do it. I am not the doer. I am not the doer. That is why we have got a method. See, these are all been incorporated in our shastras. Whatever you do, say I am doing the Ashtavakra discourse. And naturally I will be thinking, oh, I am doing it. Because just put that Swami Shantananda. No. The moment you do it, at least mentally you say, Kayena vacha manasendriyarva buddhyatmana va prakrite subhava karomi yadyat sakalam parasmayin arayana yet samarpyami. Nothing is mine. I am dedicated to the Lord. It's all Lord who did it. It's all for Him. Nothing is mine. Let me not have any punya. Let me not have any papa. Nothing accrues to me. So you dissociate yourself immediately from time to time. That is how we do it. So these are all incorporated so that you need not do it as a separate practice. These are all incorporated in our daily life. But the only thing is many of us have moved far away from it. Either we have forgotten it or our parents themselves never knew it and they have not passed on the information to us, whatever it may be. The next one is, he says, the second method is leave off all attachment to things as well as aversion. Attraction and aversion, both you avoid. There are things. Normally what happens is, either you say, I like him very much, he is my great friend. Or you say, he is a rascal. I know him for several years, you don't know what he has done to me. So either you have hatred or aversion. But does this love and attachment, is it in the person or the object? You hate a person, you say he is a rascal. That the rascality of him, the characteristics of whom has offended your taste. Was it in him? Was he responsible for your hatred? Was he responsible for your aversion? Or you are getting a beautiful sweet dish. Is it responsible for your attachment? Are you getting the sweetness out of it? No. The entire thing is your own imagination. These are characteristics of your mind developed by your past conditioning, where for births and births you are accustomed to think, this I like, this I don't like. This is favorable, this is unfavorable. This is pleasant, this is not pleasant. This is good, this is bad. You have always been making the choice. And that is what has landed you in misery. Whenever things which you disliked came to you, well, you had revulsion for it. Things which you liked, when it came, you applauded, you danced with joy. And this has caused miseries to you. So know that attachment and hatred, these are all cultivated by your mind through its own imagination. There is nothing in the other object to be hated. There is nothing in the other object to seduce you, to tempt you, or to attract you. There is nothing in it at all. Raga dvesha. Raga means attachment. Dvesha means aversion. Hatred. This is all dvesha. See, what happens is, in my own ashram, that Swamiji, who is in charge, one day he had kept some 500 rupee note on his bed. Normally whenever he goes, he locks the room. It so happened there were some people sitting, and especially one young boy who lives in the neighborhood, comes from a poor family. He was there. Swamiji went out somewhere, came back, he forgot to lock it. He came back, he forgot all about it. Then in the noon he suddenly remembered, he searched for it, he couldn't find it, to be known. The people who were sitting, most of them were all gentlemen. Somebody was an engineer, somebody was a doctor, somebody was a secretary. So naturally, he said, that shifty-eyed chap, I was always thinking that it should be a road. I think that boy has taken. He came to a conclusion. So from that day onward, whenever that fellow came, he wouldn't like to see him at all. Nor did he want to make an issue of it, because he is from the hilly tribes. If he tells something, the entire hilly tribe will come with cudgels on their hands. So he was afraid of that also. But he began to hate him. And he was always telling, that shifty boy, that rascal, I dislike him. He's the rogue. I knew him. He proved it that day, that 500 rupees he has taken. This went on for about 2 weeks. And whenever he was going, he said, see, whenever he comes this way, he doesn't come to this room. See, he is avoiding it because he knows. So whatever he did, he used to interpret it with that incident. Then after about 3 weeks, his room never used to be swept, because he says all things are lying, nobody should sweep them. So one day somebody inadvertently or otherwise took off the bed sheet and just he wanted at least the dust should fall off. Then suddenly the 500 rupee note fell out from underneath. So all these days you are having the dvesha, the hatred. Was he responsible? Was the rascality or the villainy was it in that boy? Was he a thief? Was thievery was in him? No, it was in your mind. Raga dveshau mano dharmau. Dharma means characteristic. Dharma has got several things. One of them is characteristic. So, this attachment and this dvesha, these are all in your mind. And you can misinterpret anything at any time, and then you begin to dislike the man. A widow, a new widow, she went to the insurance company, met the general manager. She said, my husband has died, so I want this money. He said, oh madam, I am very, very sorry. Yes, you people are always sorry whenever you have to pay 2 paise to a lady. For a man, you will immediately pay it. I know that. See, that fellow told sorry for the demands. Immediately dvesha comes in her mind, because she is already convinced that fellow is a chauvinistic something. So this is how things happen. These are all in your mind. They are not there. That poor girl never meant it. He was a gentleman.
So he said this lady has come, so he was condoning. But she was already convinced. These insurance, they never give properly. So she has gone with that in the mind. So whatever he said, she is interpreting in her mind accordingly. So, Ragat Vesho Mano Dharmahu Namanande Kadachane. See, in the previous one he said the body doesn't belong to you. But the body-mind makes one complex. We call it the body-mind complex. So now he says, the mind also doesn't belong to you. The mind is not yours. The mind is only a reflection. What happens is, we are all the Chaitanya, we are all the consciousness. Consciousness is always brilliant. It has a brilliance of its own. A beautiful divine light always emanates from it. That is why the great sages, you will see a touch smile on their face. They may be ugly, but still they will be beautiful. That will be the case. So, this is all due to that power in it. That Chaitanya, the mind is there in between. It is actually a creation. Actually, what is mind? Mind is only a conglomeration of thoughts. One thought of another go on rising continuously, you call it. But if there are no thoughts, there is no mind. That's all. It is so clear as that. But how the thoughts arise, it is because of the reflection of the Chaitanya. That consciousness, that reflected light, it gives it a partial consciousness light. I won't call it consciousness. A partial consciousness light. And as such, it is functioning by creating waves of thoughts after thoughts. That is how it works. So she says, look here, the mind never belongs to you. Raga and Dvesha, attachment and aversion, they all belong to the mind. You remove yourself away from it. Let the mind do what it wants. You don't associate yourself with it. You be a witness. You find that your mind likes somebody, you keep quiet. The mind likes somebody, let it. You be a witness to it, that's all. You just be seeing it, that's all. You don't join it, you don't associate yourself with it, you don't cooperate with it. You just remain as it. The mind likes it, very good. The mind dislikes somebody, be seeing it, that's all. Be a witness at the mind. It is just like you see in a cinema. In a cinema, somebody is patting his son, somebody is fondling his son, somebody is beating his son, but you remain unaffected. You are just a witness. You are just seeing both. You are enjoying both. So adopt it in your own case. You are only seeing a cinema. So in the cinema, your mind likes somebody, your mind dislikes somebody, be a witness. Look at it both. Go on looking at it without fear or favor, without any choice, without any judgment. So, kadachana, na kadachana means never, never you have had any mind. Manaha te na kadachana. You never owned a mind at any point of time. At no time you had a mind. There is never a mind. So then what? Nirvikalpo siddho dhatma. When you have no choice, when you find that a mango as also the bitter gourd, both are alike to you, and when you have no choice, you have said no choice, there is nothing pleasant, there is nothing unpleasant, then there is no difference between one and the other. Everything is alike to you. The gold and clay both look alike to you. You don't prefer the gold to the clay. Both are alike. There is no question. So nirvikalposi, nirvikalpa means undifferentiated. Vikalpa means differential. He is my friend, he is my enemy. This I like, this I don't like. This is good, this is bad, this is favorable, this is unfavorable. These are all the differences. Undifferentiated means whatever comes you accept without any judgment, without any reluctance. That's all. You accept everything. Nirvikalpo siddho dhatmaha Then what are you? Bodhatma. That means you are the conscious self. What are you? I am the self. Self means myself. Then what should be self? I am conscious. Bodhatma means I am simply the conscious self, who is the witness self, who is just witnessing everything without any judgment. Nirvikaraha. Now, when does any reaction come to you? The reaction comes when somebody places before you a dish which you dislike heartily, and before all the people you don't feel like discarding it also.